Hey everybody, as a Batman, right? I do detective work, and I have a lot of people that are part of the league, part of the Justice League, helping me out with information and research. And so the piece of information that I want to share with you right here is the reason that the amount of deaths from COVID have remained high even after all this time, and they use that to scare people, keep people under lockdown, keep people fearful, all that stuff like that, set you up for future manipulations, is that it's false. There's a lot of lies going on related to COVID, okay, and COVID deaths and the mortality rate and all of that. So I have a lot of contacts within the hospital system, and I've gained more contacts within the hospital system. People who are either doctors, nurses, statisticians, things like that, and even people in the police department that are high up. So, and here's one of the things that every single one of them from different hospitals and organizations have said, that the COVID death numbers are a lie. Okay, how do they get so high? Well, every single time that somebody dies in the hospital, they go, mark it a COVID death. Okay, so how do they get away with this? Basically, the orders are, if you suspect that the person has COVID, any kind of COVID symptom or anything like that, you are allowed to put down they died from COVID without any kind of actual checking on it. So why do hospitals do this? What's the motivation? Money. Okay, they actually get paid every time there's a COVID death. That's part of the government support. That's what I've heard. Okay, so that's the motivation. Money, again. So the thing is that, look, we're obviously not here, and I think they actually probably cured heart disease because we don't hear people dying of heart disease anymore, right? Okay, because those people don't matter. I mean, we would think like all lives matter, right? And like healthy lives matter and other diseases and things matter, but not here, right? Because not the same amount of money involvement, all right, or press. So the thing is that however it is that people die, whatever kind of condition that they come in with, they mark it as a COVID death. So there's a lot of deaths that happen every day in hospitals around the world. New York is a very populated place. Now normally, and I've learned this from studying virologists on YouTube, actual doctors that go over this, is there's a bell curve for the infection rate. So infection rates go up like a bell. Like they start off real slow and then they spike really like straight up. Then they plateau a little bit and then they go and they fall off. But this is what's happened here. It's gone up, it shot up, right? The infection rate, this and that, and the death rate and all that, and it went like this, and now it's kind of just going off to the side a little bit, sliding. And they're like, well, why is this one? They say, well, the virus is different. Virus isn't fucking different. What's happening is the amount of deaths, the reason it's sliding so slowly like this is because it's not real. It's not that COVID is so different, but how this is being handled is different because it's misinformation and lies. It's because they can benefit from this, okay? So it keeps people fearful, of course, but this is all based on money, and it is fake because all of the hospitals are putting down that every person, no matter what it is dying from COVID. Okay, they could get an infection from, some kind of a cut, and it's a bug or whatever. Oh, well, it must be COVID, so we mark it off. I even heard a story, okay, where a person died in a car crash. Okay, this was a thing on the news. That person died of a car crash, and they marked that it was a COVID death. That's how crazy it's gotten. And so what happened was, though it was like the husband, the wife looked to get, she wasn't with the husband in the car accident, looked to get the death insurance, okay, the life insurance, and they rejected it because of the things that they had it, like the COVID thing, the viral death, like wasn't covered, but he was covered for like car accidents, other things like that, and they refused to change it, and it was falsified. But so it's like, this world has become so opposite. It's basically like the criminals, okay, have become the accepted, the heroes, the saviors, and the thing is that it's like the people who are doing good and want to do good things are the criminals, okay? Case in point, there's a woman in Texas, this was just recently on the news, okay? This is like May 2020, that a mother, I think she was a single mother, okay, owned a hair salon, and Texas was getting ready to reopen the businesses, and she's running out of money. She's got to feed her children. She opens up her salon. a couple days before they officially lift a lockdown. There were some complaints. The police went over there. They fucking arrested this woman for opening her store, where normally a woman who owns a business, a single mother, would be seen as a hero and a role model, and she was treated as a criminal. Okay? That's what's happening in this world, people. All right? So what happened was, so she went in front of the judge, and the judge says, "How dare you, putting all these people in danger, like you're so selfish." And he said, I'm going to give you an opportunity to publicly apologize for your abhorrent behavior and the risk that you put people. Yeah, okay. This is I'm expecting Rod Serling from Twilight Zone to walk out and go, "In a world where a woman taking care of her children was criminalized, check out the world of Susan whatever," something like that. Okay, so thank God she stood up as a true superhero, and she goes, "Well, dear judge, I'm not going to apologize, and I'm not being selfish. Are you really telling me that a woman going out to make a living, to feed her children, is being selfish, acting on nature?" And that's why I said, on my previous video, that right now doing things that are natural are being criminalized. More people have to stand up for this. I'm doing these YouTube videos, let people know when I speak to people in person, letting people know this is wrong, people. This is totally wrong. If ever there was a reason for anarchy, and going against what the government says and all of this, it is now. Take a stance. This is wrong. This is evil. So here's the thing. So this woman, all right, she stood up for herself and she said, "Look, judge, I'm not being selfish. I'm taking care of my children. If someone doesn't want to come in my store, they don't have to come in my store. But I'm providing a service and want to make money to be able to feed my children." He threw her the fuck in jail. And basically she had a sentence for she would be in jail for a week. I don't even know what was going to happen with her kids during that time. Okay, so meanwhile, understand that they throw her, a role model of a woman that everybody could learn from, okay? A good part of society is thrown in jail. Meanwhile, they are setting criminals free. They're setting criminals free, violent criminals that are saying, "I'm afraid I'm going to get COVID in jail." They are releasing. And in a couple of cases I already read where they went back out on the streets and committed some new violent crimes. So they are caring for the criminals and acting like they are good citizens. "Oh, you're afraid? We're a good government. We're going to protect you and set you out on the street." They commit more crimes. And the woman who was running a business and just opened up her salon, you throw the fuck in jail? This, honestly, it is truly the fucking Twilight Zone. And all I can say is that I'm encouraging utter and complete rebellion against all of these mandates, and really strongly and really right now, because the message has to go out that this cannot happen again. It has to stop now. And these government officials have to be made to feel fearful of the fact that they will not remain in power if they continue to do things like this, or in any kind of similar situation. If they're doing this again, they won't get votes. They're going to get protests and all these things that are going to get maybe court judgments against them for going against the Constitution and trying to put executive orders to remove natural rights of a human being, things like that. And I actually believe that there is some kind of a law that if the government is closing you and you're not getting money from the government, you're allowed to open your business to survive. You can't be made to just die or your kids starve or go out of your way in that way to do something that would not provide for your children. I mean, it's just unbelievable stuff, people. So, but this is facts. I mean, this is the news. I saw this, not that all news is right, but I saw the woman herself speak. I saw the court images, everything, and from a number of different sources. This is what's going on in this world. So what I'm encouraging, look, go against the government here. We have to stand up against this. We have to stand up against this and say, look, we put these guys in office, right? I mean, I didn't personally vote for the people in Texas and other things like that, but what we have to do is we have to stand up saying, look, you guys work for us. We don't like what you're doing. You're not doing a good job. You're going to lose your job. You're going to lose your power. Because the only thing that they fear is losing their position and their power. We have to put the fear back in them and make them responsible for that, for what they're doing. We can't be putting business entrepreneurs in jail and setting criminals free. Like, madness, people. Complete madness. So there you go. They're lying to you about the amount of COVID deaths. And then the other thing is that the actual percentage of deaths that's happening is like about 0.25% mortality rate. So all these people that are afraid they're going to die, there's barely any chance that you're going to die above, let's say, a really nasty flu, unless you're really sick inside. You have some serious comorbidities, that you've got, you know, major lung problems or diabetes or things like this. Then this thing can get you, okay? But that's why the important thing is us talking about health, not a conversation about fucking vaccines or staying home and avoiding contact with life. That's not life. You know, it's about how do you empower yourself. That's what I'm all about, being a superhero. How do you empower yourself and face challenges? Not having other people do it for you or tell you to stay home, not have a business, not have a life, not have relationships, not have date, not connect with nature. That's not the way to make it through challenges. No one wins like that, ever. That's the message, people.